The girls came back, and Mei Ling, despite her condition, managed to praise their singing. The girls responded with a giggle and sat down to list more songs. Meanwhile, on the other side of the room, a group of men pushed one of their drunken friends onto the stage. The man groaned and wobbled and tripped over a cable on the platform while his friends laughed and clapped. The man gave them a finger and grabbed the microphone. And as soon as the first few notes from a trumpet began, he wiggled his hips, and his friends started to cheer. It was YMCA by the Village People. Some of the crowds were clapping as the guy took the microphone off of its pole and began to do a dance move and started to sing. But he was slurring his words, and his movement was out of sync. But by the time the chorus started, he was still able to shape the letters YMCA with his arms, and his friends cheered and mimicked him. When the song was over, he wobbled all over the stage as if he could not find his way out. A man from his table shouted, "Step down on your left, you ass!" Shuming and her friends were sipping cocktails and giggling and arguing over which song to sing next. She said, "Hey guys, when he comes, I need you all up there with me to sing that song, Be My Baby." "Are you serious?" her friend Chelsea remarked it. "Yes." "You're really into this guy, huh?" she asked coyly. Shuming was a little bit embarrassed. "Maybe." "Is that why you moved your birthday 2 weeks earlier?" another girl asked, and the rest of her friends burst out laughing. "Shut up!" Shuming scoffed half-jokingly and looked to Mei Ling, who seemed to be paying attention to her drink than anything else. She said, "Isn't that what friends are for? Helping each other out?" Yeah, Chelsea replied. "Just keep those drinks coming, we will help ya." Shuming, "Joe has been asking about you," said another girl. "So?" Shuming replied in contempt. "I heard a rumor that he may show up." "He better not." An hour had passed. The crowd was getting louder, and the dance floor was getting full. Mei Ling was in the middle of her third Long Island iced tea and began to lose her balance. Somewhere inside she told herself to stop, but with her constant flashbacks, she needed that substance to flow into her to drown the sorrow and numb the pain. A tall, dark figure suddenly appeared right in front of her. She frowned and looked up, but could not decipher the silhouette. "Hi, Mei Ling," Wei Long greeted. "Wei Long?" Mei Ling started to recognize his voice. He smiled and said, "Yes. May I join you?" "Sure," Mei Ling was slurring. "Shuming has been waiting for you." "Where is she?" he asked, as he looked intently at Mei Ling. Mei Ling slowly pointed. "On the stage." Wei Ling swept a glance toward the stage, as if he was just going through the motions, and walked around the other side of the table and sat down across from her. They looked at each other briefly, and her eyes looked back down to her drink. He watched her twirling her half-empty glass as well as the empty glasses in front of her. His voice stiffened. "You have been drinking a lot." "Yes," Mei Ling replied. "Do you do this often?" "Do what often?" Mei Ling's eyes were half closed. "Drinking." "Yes." She paused, realized what she just said, and retracted. "I mean, no." On the stage, Shuming noticed Wei Long sat down across from Mei Ling, and she immediately lost interest in singing. She was about to jump off the stage when her friend Chelsea grabbed her arm and said, "Oh, no, you don't. You can't leave us until the song is over." Shuming bit her lip, nodded, and stayed, but her eyes never left Wei Long's face. When the song was over, she aimed straight towards him across the dance floor, but bumped into a man who popped out in front of her. "Where are you going?" he asked amusingly. Joe, Shuming was surprised. What are you doing here? It's your birthday. Why shouldn't I be here? Who told you? Chelsea. Shuming winced and said, I have to go. You don't want to sit with a bunch of girls all night. He pulled her close and wrapped his hand around her waist. Dance with me. The song, My Love, started playing. Strategically, he requested her cousin to play it right after she stopped singing. Shuming constantly looked over Joe's shoulder and saw Wei Lang leaning towards Mei Ling. Why was he so interested in her? She was confused and frustrated. All her plans were ruined. She wanted to sing for him and dance with him, but now she was held hostage by a guy whom she no longer cared for. When the song was over, another slow one came. Shuming struggled to get away from her ex, but he would not let her go. He held her even closer and said, Look, I need you to forgive me. I didn't know what I was doing. Despite his soft-spoken voice, Shuming sneered at him. Of course you knew. Even when you were drunk, you knew. I was weak. I learned my lesson. Just take me back, please. No, Shuming shouted, and made another attempt to get off of his grip. But as she looked to her table, she stopped struggling. Mei Ling was on her way out, and Wei Lang followed her. Brewing heat surfaced around her neck as she looked at her ex in the eyes. You are ruining my life.